I'm here with Yoshi and Holland, and in this video we're going to go over some tips that you can use if you have a dog that is reactive or has a bad experience with another dog. So basically, these dogs went to go visit essentially mom and dad's house, and mom and dad have some dogs, and also another sibling had a dog that they had never met. So they were at mom and dad's hanging out, and the sibling just brought this bulldog in, and it was kind of like the perfect storm. She came in at a time when she wasn't unexpected. She just came in the house. They had never met her before. They're like, who is this? And there was a little bit of a scuffle that kicked in. So I want to go over in this video some things that you can do to set your dogs up for success. So first thing is exercising your dogs before they're going to meet another dog, or any time that there's things that are going on. So that might be difficult for the dogs to do. Just don't overdo it, don't underdo it. We want the Goldilocks amount, and the dogs need 10 minutes to recover and catch their breath before the next thing happens. So maybe before, in this case, all the dogs live in the same town. So what I would recommend that we do is we exercise Yoshi here. Was it both of them fought?
Yes.
Okay, so I would do this with them separately. I'm going to sit on my butt because my ankles will get sore after a while. So you're very cute, buddy. So what I would do is I would do this separately. I would exercise whichever one of them is going to go, meet at a park, and so you're in neutral territory. And find a big grass field and make sure there's not like a screaming bunch of kids on a swing set or other stuff like that. Those things can be, always be mindful of your environment. Sometimes that can be a contributing factor that you're not aware of. And then what I would do is I'd have you walk them together. Now I prefer to have everybody in a line. So human, dogs on the outside. Make sure we have loose leashes. I don't know about the Bulldog's guardian, if she uses any of that stuff, but make sure we're not using any prong collars, shock collars, any negative or pain-causing device, because that's going to make it worse. And then we just let them walk and let them sniff. We want to create a shared, joined experience that they can do together. And so now they go on this walk, and again, keep it relatively short. 10, 20 minutes, depending on the heat of the day. And then they don't have to interact with each other. We actually don't want them, well, I mean, if they want to, and it's feeling good, we would go with it. But if they don't want to, that's totally fine too. And so we might have to walk them 2 or 3 or 4 times together. Now they're like, I've met that dog, I've walked with that dog, we both saw that squirrel, we want to kick its butt, and our guardians wouldn't let us. But we have this shared experience. So, and we also exercise both dogs ahead of time to put them in a position to succeed. We also, and after doing this a couple times, then we would maybe go to an outdoor area when we're going to try to get them together. Now, the ideal situation would be to have them on either side of a chain link fence, or a fence that allows them to see each other, but there's a barrier between. So if we use a leash, sometimes we can, if you're doing this sort of exercise, you never want to have any tension on the leash. You have tension on the leash, separate the dogs. Best thing for dogs is when they bark or lunging, they're trying to get the other dog to move away. If we have a tense leash or a short leash, we might make them feel trapped and activate a fight. So make sure that you feel calm and comfortable about this as well. So that's one of the things that you can, those are a couple of things you can do. And after a while, then you can go to a yard and let them sniff. And if they stay apart and they're hanging out together, don't encourage them to play. Sometimes just hanging out together is fine. After a while, if they do want to engage or they do start to play, make sure you don't let that energy level get too high. So every time they pass 50% of the energy band, she wants some treats. She's going to get a little vocal. All right, so anytime they get past 50% energy, call them over, do some hand targeting, do a little bit of training, and then once they calm down and their energy is a little bit more settled, we can let them go back to playing. Now we can also do something, and I'm going to do something real quick. Christina's trying to help me out. So what I can do is, we call this, well actually, I'm just going to describe it. We call it pair treating, where I'll have a treat here and ask both dogs to sit. I can control how close they are together, and I might pair sit them here. So they're both sitting, they're both more focused on me. You see how focused he is on me? Because I've got treats. So both dogs are more interested in the treats than it is the other dog. They're practicing being around the other dog without reacting. But again, one of the best things to do is walk in an area where there's a lot of good sniffs. So a nice big open field where they don't feel trapped, and build in a couple of walks. And then after that, try to go and see if they want to interact with each other, and go with your gut. We have instincts for a reason. So if your gut tells you that something's wrong, try to avoid pulling away, call them away. Now, there's also something called the engage-disengage game, which I'm going to go through right now. Now, basically what the engage-disengage game is teaches the dog that looking at another dog or person or object is beneficial and rewarded, and then eventually looking away from it is rewarded. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to use Holland here for this, and so I'm going to throw a treat here. Yes. 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 So every time he looks at her, I'm saying the word yes, but he doesn't know that. So he's looking at my hand, waiting for me to give him a treat. I'm not telling him, I'm directing, I'm just waiting for him to look. Now, usually when a dog moves like that, they're gonna be interested. He's really dialed into the treats. So for the engage part of the exercise, what it is every time your dog looks at it, you say your marker word, yes, just like that. And so have a treat ready to go because the timing is really important. So if he looks at anywhere else, there's no direction, there's no correction, there's no punishment, yes. And at first it'll be accidental like that. And then I grab another treat, so I'm ready to go. And so it'll take a little repetition before the dog figures out. And see how I'm keeping my hand behind my back with the treat? He's looking directly at my treat pouch. He's more interested in that. And so don't hold the treat out here or keep it here because that's what the dog's going to look at. So the first stage is we're going to wait for the dog to look at the other dog. Now, if it reacts, let's say it barks, lunges, level 1 bite is an air bite, that's not a good sign. We want to have enough distance between the dogs where they feel comfortable. Now, I use 2 tests. Can the dog sit and take a treat? Now, be careful. Don't ever force a dog to sit around another dog that it's not comfortable around because it's not being disobedient at that point. It's saying, I don't feel comfortable with that. So a lot of people confuse that because the dog knows how to sit. Well, I don't feel comfortable enough sitting around. For me, the more movements a dog has to go through before it can start running is an indication of how comfortable they are. If I don't feel comfortable, I'm going to stay standing. I'm going to stay far away from the thing. If I sit down, that's 1 movement. I have to stand up and move towards it. If I'm laying down, that's 2 movements. I'm laying down with my legs crossed, that's 3 movements. If I'm what he's doing right now, what I call side saddle, your hips out to the side, 4 movements. So that's an indication he feels very relaxed and comfortable in the situation. So I find I want to get as close to the stimulus, in this case, the bulldog, as I can. Without the other dog, without him, either dog lunging or growling or any of that fun stuff like she's doing right now. And then I play the engage-disengage game. And you might have the bulldog moving back and forth, or might have him moving back and forth, and she's doing the engage-disengage. So let's see if you're going to look at her. You're just a one-track mind. You are very determined. I love that. All right, so basically, after a while, you'll see the dog start looking at it right away. And then you say yes. As soon as the dog looks at the other dog, or whatever it is, then you give them a treat. Now, let's say that, and I'm going to go ahead and use a treat here to get her to move so I can do this. Yes. So he just did an eye dart. You couldn't really see it, but if he looks this way, and I say yes, and I'm holding a treat here, he's turning away from the other dog. So we're conditioning him. If you look at the dog, you'll get a treat, but to get the treat, you have to turn away. Now, after a while, what will happen is, let's say that the camera is the other dog and I'm the dog. So at first, it's like, as soon as I look, yes, and then a treat's coming here. Yes, and treat's coming here. Look at that, you staying there with a loud voice. That's impressive. Then after a while, what will happen, after enough repetition, again, you're the dog, I look and I look away before I even hear the word yes. Now I'm disengaging and I'm intentionally looking away from the other dog because I'm expecting that treat. Well, now we switch. Now, instead of marking, when I look at the dog, I wait, the dog looks, and I wait up to 5 seconds. If it doesn't wait in 5 seconds, then I might go, use a positive interrupter sound, and then get the dog to look, and then give him a treat. But eventually what I do is the dog, I'm looking over here, and I look at you, and then I look away automatically, then I mark for looking away. And then I'm giving the dog a treat. Now, the distance is really important for this exercise. So you want to get as close as you can where the dog feels calm enough to sit down and take treats. And remember, if it doesn't, it's not being disobedient. It's just saying you're too close. So keep on moving further and further away. And eventually you find the distance where the dog can sit and take a treat. That's where you start practicing at. You want to practice it first from this angle, then from this angle, then from this angle, this angle. So you'd have a big open park is a great place to do this. Let's say we're 25 paces away. And the dog's now looking and disengaging right away. Then I can move it to 19 paces and do the whole exercise, what I've already described, and gradually get closer and closer and closer. So now we've said that looking at that other dog means I'm about to get a treat, or eventually looking away from that other dog helps get me a treat. So if we do this in concert with also doing the walks together, doing the pair treating, and I'll show you how to do the pair treating now that they're both here. Come here, buddy. Come here. Come on. Yeah, you gotta get down to get it. There we go. So for pair treating, let's put you over here because you're both black dogs, you're hard to see. So sit, yes. So I can control how close the dogs are, and if they're really dialed in, if they really like my treats, I can have them sit, take a couple more steps, sit. What are they doing? They're both being together. They're practicing not fighting. and they're more interested in me, and they're distracted with the environment. And after they've been together a long enough period of time, then that becomes the natural behavior. I just hang out with that dog. When I see that bulldog, that means we're at a park somewhere, or we're going for a walk. I like that activity, and then looking at that dog gets me a treat. And so we're creating these positive associations, but again, we set the dogs up for success by picking our environment, not with the screaming baby, exercising your dogs first, and then creating a situation at a time when they're not overheated, and there's a motivation and benefit for them to do things that we want them to do. Sit. Yosh, sit. Yes. That's Yoshi. And
Holland.
I was going to say Harmon. Yes. And that's Holland. And these are some tips you can use if you have dogs that have gotten into fights together.